Hi, my name is Camilla Herron. I'm Senior Brand Protection Consultant at MarkMonitor, and I work out of our Professional Services Group. Today I'd like to talk about generating and using big data that you can develop into actionable intelligence for enforcement against counterfeiters in the physical world. Counterfeiters today have become much more sophisticated in managing and expanding their online global sales, presence, and operations. This means that we need to improve and enhance our enforcement strategies. There are 4 things to consider. 1, actionable intelligence and what it means. 2, investigative reports and how to use them. 3, implementing and developing a test buy program. And 4, partnering with law enforcement or attorneys. So what is actionable intelligence? Brands have traditionally focused on online detection and enforcement. But to be most effective, you really need a comprehensive strategy that addresses the problem in both the virtual and physical worlds at the same time. By using the big data that's generated from your online enforcements and developing it into actionable intelligence, this intelligence can be used by law enforcement or attorneys in the physical world for criminal investigations and civil litigation against the parties involved in the counterfeiting activity, and this makes your brand protection efforts much more effective. When you do this, you also bridge both the physical and virtual worlds, and this allows you to do really in-depth investigations of the bad actors by maximizing the value of your online enforcement. You'll be using the data more completely. You'll be addressing the seller side as well as the demand side. Findings can then be used for proactive investigations in the physical world by the investigators, law enforcement, or attorneys. The intelligence analysts study and work with the data to identify 4 main areas. 1, the scope and scale of the counterfeiting problem. 2, the worst offenders, and that means the high-value targets you want to pursue. 3, criminal networks and the patterns of illegal activity. And 4, repeat offenders. With this online information, you can generate really comprehensive investigative reports to pass on to the investigators for deeper and even more effective investigations on the ground in the physical world. You can also take the reports to law enforcement for further development, or, as many companies are now doing today, give them to attorneys for civil litigation against specific targets. To support your investigations for criminal work or civil litigation, you need hard physical evidence to support these reports. This means you're going to be performing test buys, test purchases, covert buys. They're all the same thing. Be sure to use experienced vendors to do these buys because they fully understand all the rules of evidence and chain of custody protocols that have to be followed in order to ensure the integrity of the evidence for use in court at a later date. When you choose to work with law enforcement, you need to understand a few things. First, be sure you select the proper law enforcement agency. You need to know that when you hand your preliminary investigation or case to the federal law enforcement, you need to understand you lose all control over the case permanently. They take full ownership of the investigation, and you have to give up any and all control. Also, law enforcement agencies may work and develop the investigation proactively, which is the best case scenario, or on the other hand, for some reason they may decide to table it indefinitely due to changing priorities or mandates. But either way, you aren't allowed to take any further action, either investigative or legal, on the target or targets. You can't ever take it back. Law enforcement is also now not allowed to provide you with any information or updates on the status of the case, which many brands find frustrating. To find out more about this topic, check out my full-length webinar on YouTube and visit us at www.markmonitor.com.